In this video, I'm going to explain to you how some of the foods you eat put you at a very high risk of certain cancers. You know, cancer is a major concern because it is one of the leading causes of death in the world. And according to WHO, 1 in every 4 cancer deaths is linked to our lifestyle and environmental factors. So you need to watch this video and watch it well. Now, first of all, for those of you who frequently eat salted foods or salt preserved foods, you need to be very careful because too much consumption of salted meats, fish, or even pickled vegetables puts you at a very strong risk of stomach and throat cancer. And even for those people that add extra salt at table, that is after they are done preparing the food, okay, and you want to eat, you say that okay, the salt is not enough, and so you add salt before you eat. That also increases your risk of stomach cancer. This is because too much of salt causes damage to the mucosal lining of your stomach, and when that happens, it injures your stomach and then causes inflammation. So that will now expose your stomach and makes it vulnerable to a cancer-causing agent we call nitrosamine, which is found in this preserved food as a result of the chemical that is used. They use nitrite in the preservation process, and under certain conditions, the nitrite is able to change into the nitrosamine, which is a cancer-causing agent. And it doesn't end there. High intake of salted foods might also increase your risk of H. pylori infection, and that will also put you at risk of stomach cancer. Yes, the H. pylori, the same bacteria that is responsible for ulcer that we know, and so you need to be very careful. The second one goes to those who frequently consume processed meats. Please reduce the consumption of sausages, hot dogs, corned beefs, and other canned meats, because higher consumption of these foods is strongly linked to causing colon and rectal cancer. That is your large intestine, where water is supposed to be absorbed, and then your rectum, where your feces is supposed to be stored. And that is very, very dangerous. And if you look at the classification of cancer-causing agents by the International Agency for Research on Cancers, you realize that processed meats are classified as group 1 cancer-causing agent, the same group as tobacco. You see, and so you need to limit the consumption of this food. You see, because the meats are being transformed through the processes of frying, smoking, fermentation, salting, and other processes to enhance the flavor and then the appearance. Chemicals like the nitrosamine that I talked about are released into the food as a result of the preservation method that are used. And then you also have chemicals like heterocyclic amines and then the polycyclic aromatic carbons being released into the food as a result of the high heat temperature that is being used. And all these chemicals are cancer-causing agents. So this is why these processed meats must be very limited in your daily eating habits. Anytime you see this powdery growth on your food, say your bread, granules, corn, fruits, or any other food, or you see these green, black, or white patches on the food, please, you need to throw the food away because that is mold contamination. This is not the time to clean the patches and then eat the food, because that is very, very wrong. This mold you are seeing is actually a living organism that is capable of growing, reproducing, and doing all other life processes that we know. And as a result of their activities, they release a very harmful chemical into the food, a chemical we call aflatoxin. And this chemical is capable of causing liver cancer. And if you look at the classification I talked about, aflatoxin is classified as group 1 cancer-causing agent. So you need to be very, very careful, and you need to take your food safety very, very serious. Now, why this is a major concern is that our food environment here, for most people, they will now use the damaged groundnut or the spoiled groundnut for groundnut paste. And then they will now go and buy the rotten tomatoes or the tomatoes with the mold on it, wash it, blend it, and now use it for stew just because that is less expensive. Yes, it might be less expensive, but that also means that you are putting yourself at risk of liver cancer, and that is very, very expensive to treat. So please, we need to be very, very careful. Cancer is real, cancer is on the rise, and cancer is a life-threatening condition. That is why we need to take our food safety very, very serious. We need to take healthy eating habits very, very serious. Eat a balanced diet and always make sure that you exercise, because that is very, very important. Thank you very much for watching. Kindly share this video to your friends or families so that they can also benefit from this cancer awareness. My name is Dietitian Ikotozi. See you in my next video.